So here's the letter. Dear Terence and Beth, I am a Filipina married to a foreigner. I saw a video of one of your visitor and Beth explained about why he is being thrifty. I want to ask advice. I'm in the same positions just married for over a year, but his attitude is getting worse when it comes to money.
It's getting worse?
Yeah, getting worse. In other words, he's already thrifty, but as they've been married for over a year now.
Yes, darling, I speak English.
Okay.
I know what worse means.
He is paranoid that what if one of my family will be hospitalized, where are we gonna get money? When we're going to town, we eat in a cheap carinderia. Carinderia is a restaurant, right? And we ordered one dish for 20 pesos. And we share it and a service water. I was really ashamed.
That's thrifty.
I was really ashamed when one of the customer also told me that if I was really ashamed when one of the customers in that carinderia told me that if I am with Filipino, I got more than one dish. After that incident, we never eat again outside to avoid that kind of situations. When I asked him money, he asked me 10 questions. For what? For what? Who we gonna give? What's the purpose? Etc. Before he give me. To be honest, seems my love to him fading on his gun, right? Almost.
Is sadding?
Fading. In other words, for example, the color is yellow as time goes by when you wash it.
Yes, darling, I'm just trying to hear the word rather than have you explain it to me. It's turning into an English lesson.
What should I do? Thanks, TNB Rosario.
Oh boy,
Thanks, Rosario.
That made me a little bit depressed just listening to that. I haven't seen that letter. Yes, I should explain to Westerners, to foreigners out there, that the word thrifty, when used by a Filipino, is not the same as when it's used by a Westerner. When it's used by a Westerner, it's a good thing, because being thrifty means that you're using your money carefully. But what does it mean when a Filipino uses it, honey?
Yeah, it's too much,
It's too much. Actually, it's too little, isn't it?
I think in the side, as I said, there are some instances that foreigner is very thrifty because they're worried what happened if there's some emergency and they live in a foreign country. But on your situations, your husband is too much, that suddenly it affects on your relationship, right? Because even if myself, if Terence, if I am on that situations, if I am on your situations, it really affects, because it seems that, when you get married to that person, supposedly you're going to taking care of her, right? And you give your love, your respect, and at the same time to provide financially. Not in abundant way, but at least you could able to eat. You could able to, if you want to go out, you could able to eat. You could able to buy what your daily needs. Not in a way that you've been getting insulted, right? Because I understand your way that when you eat in the restaurant, right? When you eat in the restaurant and then suddenly the people that notice it, right? You're a foreigner. You're with a foreigner and you only have one dish. Right?
Yeah, you should explain to most foreigners out there that one dish is something that looks about that big. Okay, so one dish would be thrifty carried to the extreme. In the West, they call it being tight, and it sounds like your husband is actually tight. There are various people who are stereotypically tight, which we won't go into because we get a storm of protests. But yeah, he has to learn to loosen up a little, and boy, I'll be interested to see what our subscribers think of this, because they will not hold back as much as we're trying to do now. But yeah, he needs to loosen up a little bit, because if it's affecting you, then that's not a good thing. Mind you, if he's actually making you love him less by this, it must be a lot more than you're telling us, okay?
Yeah.
So it can't be just that you went in a restaurant and he only ordered one dish, I mean,
I think there
the
are.
question would be, was one dish enough? And in that particular case, it may well have been.
I think the situation. I think the situation is more than what she tried to explain.
Well,
Maybe
more than
it's
one.
just
Yeah,
it's
more
just
than
filing,
a case of one
right?
dish. Yes.
It's just filing all, you know.
Yes.
But I think the best thing that you can do is you explain to your husband the what is in your heart, right? And tell to your husband it affects our situations. What's the purpose of your money in the bank, right? What's the purpose of your money in the bank when our relationship is already affected, right? It doesn't mean that
Yes.
you're going to be what do you call that, darling? Spend. But if that too much thrifty of your husband affects on the relationship, right? But we don't know the both side, you know.
Right. But if I might suggest, if you go into a restaurant, now, if it's the normal situation between an expat and his Filipino wife, usually the Filipino orders anyway. So what the heck? Order 2 dishes or order 3.
Yeah,
Well,
because
a word to the wise: make sure you eat them, because if you order 2 or 3 dishes and then you don't eat them, he's bound to say, "See what I mean?
I think
didn't eat them."
yeah, I think what happened is the next time you're going to eat in the restaurant,
What will happen?
yeah, what will
Future
happen
tense.
in the future, you're going to eat in the restaurant and you make sure that there's other Filipino out there, right? That ordered also and a lot and bring to your husband and says, look, they don't have what you got in the bank, but they eat properly, happily, and they eat what they want, because what is important now is now rather than in the future that is not yet happening,
I
right?
have a shortcut. What you should do the quivering bottom lip. Honey, I'm hungry. I want something to eat, Titus.
But as I said, we understand, we don't know the whole story, and we try to understand, we try to understand that maybe the pension of your husband is just enough, right? Or
Enough
possible,
for one dish.
yeah, no, maybe there are some, for example, his husband has medical maintenance, and if you're in the foreign countries and you're just you're just only depending on your pension, it's really make you paranoid, right? Because what happened,
makes you worse.
yeah,
Makes
what
you
happened,
thrifty.
your pension being suddenly cut, where you gonna run, right?
Mhm.
And of course, so that's their mind thing. And then for foreigner, they don't want, borrowing is not existing in their mind, right? They don't want to go around on your neighbor and borrowed money.
No, they're not going to do that.
Yeah, or gonna tell to their friends that, look, I'm desperate of money. Can you lend me? Can I borrow it? So that's why we try to understand that there are possible, that's the reasons of your husband.